Give it everything you got.
Attendance Fortuna juvat.
Absolute cinema, guys. You both got the part. I will let your agents know immediately.
Bych jsme jako šli pomalu na to, ale ještě předtím je tady jedna důležitá věc. Vyšel poslední díl Kingdom Come live action série s hercema a já jsem ho neviděl, takže bych se na ně rád podíval. Protože to je poslední den ve Warhorse, kdy Jindřicha i Jana Ptáčka vykopnou, takže bych se mrknul na to, jak je vykopnuli předtím, než skočí Jan Ptáček do mé lože.
18.
Kámo, já vím, že to bylo 7 let, ale prostě ten Jindřich. Já pokaždý chcípám z toho, jak tohle má být 19letý kluk in-game. Bro, tady vypadá, že zažil ty vole prostě válku.
How you feeling? Like I'm about to say goodbye to my first true love. And we're walking towards each other and I'm preparing my big speech, but to be honest, I'd rather be anywhere else because I know how much it's going to hurt.
To šlo rovnou do Fields.
The day's finally come and there's nothing we can do but just let go. You?
Yeah, about the same. Except my one true love is, she's broken a leg. And she's like hobbling towards me on crutches. And she's got her arms outstretched. And she's begging me not to go. And then she falls over and she breaks her other leg. She rolls out of the window.
Oh, tak to je z Ruska.
And we're on the 17th floor. Oh, she hits the ground. And there just so happens to be a convoy of trucks rolling by. And they run her over. And our wedding song's playing on the truck radio. That's how I feel.
Huh? What the hell? Excuse me. Hello? Can you open the door for us, please? It's our last day here. Hello? Is Tom and Luke?
I think it's a new guy. Should we introduce ourselves properly? I'm not letting a receptionist ruin our grand closure.
Excuse me, do you know who we are?
Interns.
For that comic with the money we raised for this business. So can you get off your ass and come let us in and open up for your benefactors?
Hey, Blondie, listen. What are you doing here? What's that crazy stuff you are doing here? Unless you have some business here, audition or what, then kindly.
No, sorry. We actually did our auditions years ago. It's Tom and Luke. Henry and Hans.
I see, Henry and Hans. Well, new Henry, new Hans. Well, starting again, audition upstairs. But if you want, I let you in.
Into what?
I'm sorry, what do you mean, new Henry and Hans?
Okay, Franta. You go there and stand there. And so you are playing a young nobleman and heir to Ratai, and you are a hot-headed, hedonistic lad, okay? You, Boris, you are the lead. You are playing Henry, a young teenage knight who is a bodyguard to Sir Hans Capen. And just now he's explaining to you his life motto, Audentes Fortuna Juvat. You don't have much time, so you have just one take. Give it everything you got.
Attendance Fortuna juvat. Henry, don't you get it? Fortune favors the brave, and because I am brave, You will serve me.
But, Sir Hans, I must go on a journey without you. I cannot serve you, and you have to understand this.
I think we're safe.
But I can serve you food. So first, let's eat together and enjoy biting meal. Here's the vegetables, because I feel quite hungry. The end.
Absolute cinema, guys. You both got the part. I will let your agents know immediately. It was exactly what we are looking for. Young, fresh, strong alphas, but sensitive at the same time. I'm so happy.
What?
Sorry, guys, but we need someone young. Someone for the modern audiences.
LOL, on to řekl! On to řekl!
But we need someone young. Someone for the modern audiences. And you two are just two old Brits. It was a good run, but it's time to move on with your careers.
Dan, what are you talking about, mate? I've been your lead actor for 10 years. I've been bouncing back and forth to Prague like a lunatic with all those bloody lines you wrote for me.
Yeah, we've given you everything. And you're going to recast us with them.
Classic Tom and Luke. The absolute disrespect from these two. Who they think they are, eh? Hollywood stars, Brad Pitt and George Clooney. I could play their parts. I was the lead in Stalker 2, not these fools. And these two come running. You know what they did during my audition? They nicked my mother's purse.
We didn't have enough money, so we had to go to the Kickstarter. And now we can afford proper actors.
Dan, you know what? Al dentes fortuna. Shove it up your ass!
And I'm glad you've said that, because that's something I've always wanted to say to your face.
Yeah.
I was never hungry.
Never.
Not
You know what else?
your purse in this
You,
room.
it's all about money. It's
Vozím si bed.
all about the Bentley, isn't it? All about the
15 hours a day with a fucking haircut.
But they're absolute. And they wonder, while we're replacing them, their parts better. Let me tell you something about these low-life pieces. What do you fellas say?
Come here.
You are not Morgan Freeman. You are not Morgan Freeman. I was just going.
Okay. That's enough of that silliness. We just want to say a massive thank you to you all for watching our videos, for supporting us. Obviously, all the way along, it hasn't really been Luke and Tom. It's just a version of us. It's a Henry and Hans thing. So clearly, that wasn't really us for the last few hours that you watched.
I don't know what he's talking about. You were acting?
We weren't going to talk about this.
Okay. No, he's right. And we just want to say a big thank you to you, the community, because honestly, you are the lifeblood of this whole thing, and your support and your energy, right back from when the game was announced especially, we were all so overwhelmed by your response when you sat on that horse and said, what was it you said?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. But now we can finally show you Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That's actually something that goes right back to the start of our journey. Really, that community has been the lifeblood and the kind of energy ball behind this whole project since the beginning. So right at the start of KCD, there was a really powerful, passionate, small group of people who powered this game forward and started with the Kickstarter campaign. And that community has grown over time and people have joined us, thankfully. But there literally would be no KCD or no KCD 2 without those people and without your energy and passion. And I hope you know how much we appreciate it all. And we really hope we've done you proud with KCD 2. Enjoy playing the game.
So on that note, I think we should toast Al dentes fortuna juvat to the community.
To the community. I feel quite hungry. I think my most precious memory, really, of playing this role, there's two things, really. In a kind of wider sense, it's the word family gets used a lot in our community, in our creative industries, and very lightly often. But actually, the family that have built around this game and this experience, to me, has been probably the single most precious thing I have in my working life. I've got to know people on a much deeper level than I ever would otherwise. I've worked with them for much longer than you would on a TV show or in a play. So that kind of cumulative effect of those hours and hours spent in the voiceover booth and the hours spent in the motion capture studio and, you know, drinks after work and conversations about PR and marketing and scripts and, you know, all of those things put together, That's the kind of golden nugget of this whole experience, really, is the people that have put it together and built it and made it into this amazing thing that it is. On a kind of much smaller level, on a kind of narrative level, I feel very wedded to the family stuff in the game, which is sort of, for Henry at least, it's kind of the engine of the game, the fact that his parents are killed, and that is the thing that sort of drives him right from the beginning and the end of the game. It never really goes away, and any story needs that kind of really powerful engine to push it forwards. And, on a personal, like, I've lost my dad. That's not in any way really kind of relevant in the wider sense. I'm not a method actor. I don't kind of draw on it in a literal sense. But inevitably, those experiences are kind of buried deep within you somewhere. And certainly the kind of engine of Henry's story being that is something that feels incredibly personal and important to me. And so any of those scenes with the two actors, amazing actors that played my parents, was, some of which feature in the second game in a different kind of arena, were kind of the most powerful, and I guess the most personal in a way for Henry and for me playing Henry.
In the first game, I was fresh out of drama school and a bit naive, to be honest with you, and it was a bit green to the whole thing of the industry. And Tom was a lot more experienced, and then by the time...
That's not true.
No,
you were
great. Come on. Yeah. But, like, by the sequel, it had been years fast-forwarding, right? And I'd matured, and I remember you saying to me in the sequel, like, when we showed up after, like, the first week of shooting, you were like,
Přeji krásný večer a zdravím z práce.
And I was like, I agree with you, I am. I've matured because I've been through so much.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I'd given acting up by this
and
point.
And also COVID
changed people, and and we were quite different. I feel like we got closer in the second game, didn't we?
I actually feel like the single thing, alongside everything else as well, that bonded us was just hours of...
Je tak closer ve druhé hře.
Sitting in a motion capture studio and pissing about and sort of making our own fun while we were waiting for things to happen. And actually there is a, I'm being glib, but actually there's a positive fallout to that, which is basically, I think that's where that chemistry comes from. It's just a sort of like mutual affection and pissing about for hours on end.
Yeah.
Builds you a friendship, a real world friendship and a narrative friendship,
It does, because like humor's the best way to pass time when you're waiting for Dan to make a bloody decision.
When I sat down and they kind of talked me through the whole arc of his story in KCD2, I was so excited. I'm still so excited because I didn't think it was possible, and I didn't think it was where we were going to go with this game. I thought it would, it would be kind of more of the same, and it really isn't. And I think for me, the most exciting facets of that is the darker corners. So you can be any number of versions of Henry, but on a personal level, I found those kind of deeper, darker corners really exciting and fascinating to kind of investigate. And yeah, it's an acting challenge like I've never had before, and it's incredibly exciting. And I honestly didn't know that was possible. I didn't know, the size of this game means that it is.
And it's a credit to Tom when you think about it, because Tom has to do all of those different challenges and make them believable, and you are a vessel for the player. And so the fact that the player can feel so, can invest so heavily into the story is because you're making it believable for them.
I hope so. Well, that's true of you and all of the actors, like, for sure. We are blessed with an amazing cast in this game. There's an amazing body of actors here in Prague that are English speakers who play a huge amount of the characters. Obviously, Luke is absolutely brilliant. There's a kind of new core...
How did I get the part of Hans? So initially, it was a self-tape audition that a friend of mine helped me with, and I sent it off to the studio. Initially, it was an audition for Henry, so I was trying to play Henry, and they gave us 2 scenes. One was a bit serious and antagonistic, and the other one was light and funny and making fun. And I think Dan saw it and was like, he's not necessarily great for Henry, but I think he's a Hans Capon. So they flew me out to Prague, which at the time I was 22 years old, and just like, I'm being flown to another country to audition properly for a role in a big video game? What? But I did. I flew out and I felt like a big shot. And I went to the studio and I sat across from the top team, Dan and Martin, and I did a scene that they gave to me. And at the end of that scene, Dan reached out his hand and said, "Welcome to the team." And that was that. And I was Hans. And biggest mistake he ever made, really.
On that note, maybe we should have a little read of each other's lines. How do you fancy doing a bit of Henry for us now?
Go on.
And I'll do a bit of old Hans Capon.
Oh, I love that. All right, so we're going to... OK.
Audentes fortuna juvat!
Audentes fortuna juvat!
Very nice. What's that you're yelling, Sir Hans?
All right, Hagrid. Good gracious, Henry. You don't mean to tell me you don't know Latin?
Oh, God, I do it better than that. My apologies, Your Grace. Unfortunately, I was too busy shoveling manure and picking turnips to find time to study Latin.
Well, we shall have to rectify that. Can't have an ignoramus for a personal bodyguard.
Anyway, this Audens, what does that actually mean?
Audentes fortuna juvat. Fortune favours the brave.
I don't doubt it.
I don't doubt it.
All we have to do is deliver a letter to Lord Otto von Berghoff and ride back again.
All we have to do is deliver a letter to Sir Otto von Berghoff and ride back again. It doesn't take much bravery.
Christ, Henry, don't be such a stick in the mud. Aren't you glad we got out of that godforsaken hole and we can finally enjoy some adventure? See a bit of the world? The idea of it coming to an end is obviously really, really sad, but kind of inevitable. That's the nature of making stories. And but this one definitely, the kind of size of its shoulders have been like so much broader.
Teď potvrděj Kingdom Come 3 a ve skutečnosti to nebude konec. Teď potvrděj Kingdom Come 3, Chad.
It will be a very difficult thing to say goodbye to. But I will also always feel incredibly grateful for having been given this opportunity and for the people in the Warhorse building in which we're now sat that have kind of supported me and buoyed us up. And, I said at the announcement party that essentially, we've all built this character together. I have the sort of pleasure of voicing him and bringing him to life literally. But everybody creatively has kind of had their input into that. And then, of course, the players, when they're playing him, do the same thing. So it's like this huge collaborative effort, which I have the benefit of being at the front of. But actually, it feels like a whole team effort. And so saying goodbye to that is going to be really hard.
I'm trying not to entertain the idea that this is the last time that we'll work together and the last time that I'll be in Prague and all that, because for me, this game, it's not just been a game, it's not just been a project that I've been a part of, it's kind of been a lifeline, and there's been times where I've been very depressed over the last 10 years, not to put a downer on things, but I have, and also my acting life and career, which was once incredibly just me, my whole life. It was a very tricky road that I tread. And this game and this project has allowed me to do it when no other project or company or anyone or studio wanted me. But this studio did. This studio gave me a chance to do the thing that I always wanted to do. And I get to come back here every few months for 8 years, nearly 10 years. And that is the most unbelievable privilege that I will never forget. And I'm so sad that it is ending, but I'm trying not to think about that. But it really has been the biggest gift that I've ever gotten, because as I say, it's the only acting job I still get to do. And
for now,
let's hope. Let's hope there's more. I mean, I live a double life as a filmmaker, and I love that too. But this is very, very special, and I would love to do more of it. But I cannot even express to you how important this project has been, how important the people involved in it have been, and I'm going to miss it so bloody much.
Listen up. Hey! When it seems you're out of luck, there's just one man who gives up. A friend who never leave you stuck. Now who can that friend be? Henry, a hero Henry, a fellow who loves his fellow man. Henry, reliable Henry, he gets the job done the best he can. When you want to string your lute and pluck it with your plectrum, who will pull the sheep guts out to the creature's rectum? Henry, a hero Henry, a fellow who loves his fellow man. Henry, let's drink to Henry, he gets the job done the best he can.
Kingdom Come Deliverance nyní venku. Krásný video. Těch úvodních 5 minut, ty keks s Vávřičem jsou výborný. Bentley zmíněno, moderní publikum zmíněno a Real Cinema Guys zmíněno, jakoby, chápeš mě? I was never hungry, kámo, jako tam sejmul toho Vávřiče. Dané, a jednu věc ti povím. Já jsem ve skutečnosti nikdy hlad neměl. Jako ostřejší už nemohl být, nebůhám? Moc hezký. Já si myslím, že opravdu celý ten jako marketingový rollout, prostě celá ta marketingová kampaň za poslední rok až k vydání té Kingdom Come 2 byla absolutně top tier. Jako nejenom na českou úroveň, ale i opravdu jako na světovou úroveň, protože jako málo která AAA hra má takhle jako dobrý, jako prostě takhle dobře udělaný videa, promíčka, fakt si s tím dali záležet. Jako opravdu to udělali strašně pěkně a máš ty AAA hry, které měly třeba 4násobný rozpočet Kingdom Come 2 a vyšly a hele, tady je TV spot, kde je černošský rap, tady je gameplay trailer a to je asi všechno, lol, tak hrajte nebo něco. Tady fakt jako prostě toho, tady útočili na všech frontách. Na druhou stranu jasně, my jsme jako cílovka, tudíž hej, jasně, že to vždycky budeme cítit jako víc. Takže třeba JC Shadows prostě má hromadu trailerů a materiálů, ale ty postují jako memes na facebookovou stránku Assassin's Creed, ale rozhodně nedělají takhle cool videa. Teď umře. Ač mi onem Segana! Yes, Mr. White! Science, bitch! Kamo, já trefil aj ovci jednou ranou. Woo! Mám to. Fašírka.